Now, I've talked a little bit about this bid rent theory, and I went through it pretty fast. So I'm just going to highlight this theory because it's going to be important to understand both in this unit and also in the urban unit. I'll eventually have another video that'll cover the bid rent theory in more depth, but it's important to understand the basics so you understand von Thunen's model. This theory is just looking at the amount of land available. One economic concept is scarcity. Whenever you have scarcity, things are going to, normally at least, cost more money. When you're in a city or an urban area, land is scarce. So you're going to see that rent is more expensive there. There's just less land to go around and we have more demand. Also in the economic unit, you'll get into supply and demand. You can check out some videos I have on the channel already on that. And that kind of explains why the price will raise. But all you need to know right now is that when more people want to buy something and there's less of that item, then it's going to cost more. So for bid rent, closer you are to that city, it's more expensive to be there. When we're looking at that first ring of von Thunen's model, dairy production, that doesn't require as much land. So they're able to buy more expensive land and then save money on transportation. However, with the bid rent theory, the farther away you go from the city, land value starts to go down and it starts to become cheaper as land becomes more essentially supplied. There's more of it. There's less demand out there. Even if you connect this to rent within apartments, if you're trying to get an apartment in a downtown area, it's going to be pretty expensive. However, if you go to a suburb or if you go even further out into a town or into a rural area that's surrounding the main city, it's going to be pretty cheap. This illustrates the bid rent theory. Hopefully this is kind of making sense. So this is why when we're looking at von Thunen's model, people who are going to be raising cattle or who are growing corn are going to be further away from the city because they need a lot of land. And since their transportation costs are not as high, they can just transport their products to the market. This way they save money and they maximize their profits. And that's the goal of the model. Farmers want to make money. Let's look now at von Thunen's model in the real world. Does this still work today? Pause this video and try to think to yourself, is von Thunen actually here a genius or is he just an idiot? I mean, is this really how society is set up? It's kind of interesting to think about. Pause the video and try to figure it out and unpause it then when you're ready to go over the answer.